let's hope that neither Mane or Aguero can grab another goal here and Oba can share that golden boot. I think Arsenal have deserved to win today, but it's been some workout because it's not been played at final game of the season pace.
No, it hasn't. It's been a really entertaining game. I think we've had that little side storyline, if you like, of Aubameyang and the golden boot. I think there's been some real bits to encourage, you know, the way Laurent Koscielny came on. I thought he did very well indeed. I think Henrik Mkhitaryan had a good second half. I think Scott Mustafi did very well. Alex Iwobi was dangerous. I think it's been a very encouraging afternoon in general, and it gives us the confidence, it gives us the momentum going into Baku. It's all about Baku now, and but nice to end the season with another win.
No doubt about that. Arsenal have claimed success here at Burnley, and as long as Aguero hasn't scored very late on, Mane doesn't get another, Oba will share that golden boot or get it. We're still not quite sure which way that's going to go, but plenty of chatter still to come from the Arsenal Nation live gang as we hand you back to the boys at the Emirates, and Johnny and Perry and Nick. Full time here. It has finished Burnley 1, Arsenal 3.
Thanks very much, fellas. Yeah, convincing, well, I say convincing, a nice 3-1 win in the end. As Dan just said, Johnny and Perry with me here in the studio. Johnny, thoughts on the game?
Well, I mean, you know, it didn't really make any difference to us. We knew where we were going to finish. It's funny when you look at United getting rolled at home to Cardiff, a relegated Cardiff. So you get to just sit back and look around the league and laugh. Positive for Oba. You could see he was hungry trying to get those goals and he got them. So ended up joint top scorer. That's got to be impressive. First time that's happened since Van Persie. So we really are, if anyone was in any doubts, we really are in great shape up top with, you know, a league-leading striker there. But yeah, I mean, the game was all right. It was testimonial pace, and you know, again, we got through it with no injuries. That really is the biggest thing today.
Well, what I take from it, Perry, actually, is both of you guys were severely unhappy.
We said before, what a brilliant decision, didn't we?
Yeah.
If you rewind the tape, we said, what a great decision playing Aubameyang. If he gets the golden boot, he'll be positive. We have loads of... Look, the positives are, he's come through unscathed. That is the big positive. He's got his 2 goals, which he has joint golden boot, which we're not sure whether it's going to go on minutes or he's going to share it. So he's going to be obviously really confident going into the final. We've won 3-1 away from home. We've come 5th, which is better than last year. We've got more points than last year. The frustrating thing is, I think in the end we're at 1 point away from like 4th place. That's the frustrating thing. But everything from today, second half especially, everything is positive. There's no negatives to be taken out of today. Koscielny came through after getting smashed into the advertising boards and looked like a rogue post was going to like injure him. So he's come through, all right. So everything is positive today. And the second half performance, as the game spread out, it suits the better players, and we have better players than what Burnley have. So they couldn't make it the fight competitive game they wanted it to be because it's end of season, so it suited us when it went even more testimony in the second half.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the frustration and, you know, the 1 point away. There was actually a tweet about that. We can see that tweet now. Just have a look here. I'm so annoyed about if Arsenal had taken small games more seriously, this day would have been a different story. We can see the table there off the back of it. Just 1 point behind. It is a bit frustrating considering for ages, and you can both pitch in on this, for ages people were like, well, Arsenal's running, we've got the much easier running, you know, we're only playing this team and that team. And actually, when it came down to it, it was in our own hands, and we kind of let it slip through our fingers a bit.
Look, we kind of discussed this earlier, and I think it hasn't changed over the course of those 90 minutes. The simple fact is, Emery, as far as I'm concerned, made a choice. He made a choice to head for Europa League hard. As far as I'm concerned, he sacrificed some of those games, or he certainly didn't put his strongest foot forward in those games, and we've lost them. If we go on to win the Europa League, he can sit there and go, listen, I've done what I come here to do. I've won you silverware. How many European Cups have we got? Not many, OK? It would be a big, big day in our history if we win the Europa League and get back into the Champions League. Obviously, caveated with what might happen later on as well. But still, in terms of what Emery's doing and delivering, that will be a massive achievement. But he has to win this, because otherwise, the way that we just succumbed to basic small teams in the Premier League towards the end of the year, people have got memories here, with regards to that, and Emery will then be on the back foot when it comes to next season. And I don't want that. I hope we start on the front foot with a Europa League win and playing in Champions League football next year. But when you make a choice the way that I see it, and a lot of Arsenal fans do, you have to deliver. So let's hope we roll Chelsea in a couple of weeks.
Well, just to ask a question then before we go into more of your reactions on social media of what you've seen today. Just a question for Perry, actually. Why is it then today we're playing not our strongest 11? Aubameyang had a good game today, but we're not playing our strongest 11. There were lots of changes. Why is it we seem to, I wouldn't say roll over, but a convincing 3-1 win away at Burnley, which has traditionally been a tough place for us to go to? Why are we seeing that now and not against, Leicester, Everton, Wolves, Palace at home? Why are we seeing that now?
Well, the thing is, the Leicester game away was always going to be tough because they've come into their best form of season, new manager, so you know what's happened. Wolves away is going to be tough. It's it's the Crystal Palace game and the Brighton game where Crystal Palace, apart from Man City, had the best away record in the Premier League after January and most points. And then when they'd have seen that team, what Emery put out with Mustafi, with Jenkinson, he'd have said to his team, actually, they don't rate you. That'd have been a fillip for them. That'd have been a motivator for them. And I think we can get away with 1 or 2 squad players in an 11. You can't get away with 4 or 5. We're not on that level of Man City at the moment. So that's why. And today, let's be honest, Burnley weren't really the snarling, horrible, niggly Burnley that they normally are, where they're physical. There was a few little pushes and but they weren't getting it forward. They weren't elbows flying everywhere. So they were safe. So it was quite a nice game to play.
The sun was
It's the best time to play. Yeah, the Burnley fans didn't realise what the big yellow thing in the sky was. They'd never seen it before, so it relaxed them a little bit. But that's why. It's a different attitude today, completely different attitude from the team we're playing against.
Fair point. Right, Aubameyang then. Lots of people obviously giving him lots of praise on social media, and rightly so. Josh here saying, love how relaxed Aubameyang is one-on-one. Now, if we can take him off and put him in bubble wrap for the Europa League final, then that would be great. You guys were screaming for that as well at that point. Smithy says, just the 31 goals for Aubameyang now. I mean, what a player we have on our hands here, Johnny. What a player.
He is excellent. And do you know what? I think I was actually listening to the Grove podcast, actually, and I think some good points were made because it was exactly the way I see it with Aubameyang. And that is that I think that people look at Aubameyang and they think he's a different kind of player to what he actually is. Like, they think because he resembles like Thierry Henry, he's rangy, he's very fast, he's going to be that guy who picks it up on the wing, beats a couple of people, that trademark curler finish. Aubameyang is a predatory striker. He comes alive in the box. Most of his goals come from in the box. He gets a chance, and when he does, he gets in there first. He uses his pace in that kind of way. He's very clinical, and, of course, he does miss chances, granted, but that's because he gets himself so many chances as well. I don't know how many times in his career he's ended up top scorer in his league. He's constantly pumping out 20 goals a season. We had him from January last year, put 13 goals or whatnot together. This is a geezer who hasn't had bad seasons in terms of scoring. When you combine him with another one of the league's best strikers, I think we've genuinely got, it's hard to say, obviously Liverpool have got an outrageous attacking lineup, but I think in terms of strikers, there's no one better in the league than our two. There isn't. Look, in terms of actual strikers, obviously Salah and Mane are slightly different, you know what I mean? But I think this is the players we should be building our team around, because they are the only elements, as far as I'm concerned, that you don't need to improve to get to where we need to get to. They could win you leagues, these two, if they had the support. If the midfield and the defence were as good as Aubameyang and Lacazette, we'd be challenging for the league.
Do you know the thing that Aubameyang is different from Henry is? Aubameyang, for his whole career, has always been a natural goal scorer. That's what and Arsenal fans, myself included, sometimes he drifts out of games and he's not involved, but he just comes, as you said, comes alive. He saves all his energy for getting in the penalty area, whereas with Thierry, he made himself into a fantastic goal scorer. Before he came to Arsenal, he wasn't prolific, and Arsene said go out and play sort of left side, green drifting in. You had Dennis Bergkamp, which does help, who's creating chances. Yeah. But Thierry made himself into a fantastic goal scorer, whereas Aubameyang has always been. That is his game. And to be fair to Lacazette, everybody said, they can't play in the same team because both want to play centre forward. They've both adapted to each other. And you think, like, I think they've got 40 goals. Lacazette's 19. Is it? So they've got 40 goals between them, 40 plus goals. It's like different class, isn't it, for two strikers? Very, very good.
That's exactly what we were screaming for, and we've got it. And you know, it's paying dividends now, which is great. Koscielny had to come on actually because Mavropanos went off injured. Mavropanos looked quite upset about that. We don't know what the injury is or how serious it is, but he looked upset when he came off. Koscielny came on. Few people were a bit worried about Koscielny coming on, and then there was that moment where he got pushed over the advertising boards, and we could see here from Wayne saying, "My heart stopped. Seriously, take Koscielny off. I can't take this." Also, we should have another tweet that comes up any second, maybe not. Anyway, we'll move on. But oh, there we go, from Kalichi saying, we cannot afford a Koscielny injury. I repeat, we cannot afford a Koscielny injury. Now, he's one of our most, I wouldn't say injury prone, but he suffers quite serious injuries. You know, not the same type of injuries that, say, Jack Wilshere used to get when he was here, but kind of serious stuff on his Achilles and his calves. And when he came on, considering he's a player that we normally have to wrap in cotton wool, I was quite surprised he made the bench today. I mean,
see, unlike, say, Jack Wilshere, as you mentioned there, the reason why it's different to where Koscielny's at is Koscielny's at a different stage of his career. There are some players that just seem to be injury prone, like they just can't stay fit, there's things going wrong. But Father Time will bring that heat to anyone's door. As they get older, it's like, right, you're going to start breaking out. It's often what a lot of players talk about eventually leads them to saying, I knew it was time to hang it up, because the injuries just start coming more regularly. Some of them are chance, but others are just like your body just can't deal with it all the time. And with Koscielny, it's not just, if it was one injury of one area of the body, it would be easier to kind of understand or manage, but it's all sorts going wrong now.
Yeah.
I think he had his cruciates last year. His shoulder's been going. So for me, when I'm seeing him come on ahead of, as Perry said, the biggest game in 15 years for us, I'm worried, especially when people are launching people through hoardings like it's WWE wrestling. You know, we don't need to see that.
The thing is, the difference with Jack's injuries and Koscielny's is Jack's are nearly always impact injuries, where he's overstretching or someone's going, or he's committing himself and he's getting ankle injuries, getting bone injuries. Do you know what I mean? Where they're breaks and fractures. Where Koscielny's is, as he's got older, they're more muscular injuries. And he's very similar to Vincent Kompany. Vincent Kompany's very similar towards the end of his career. But again, flipping it on his head, I didn't want to see him come on. I was like, every Arsenal fan, like Johnny and yourself, he's like, oh my God, he's gone into the boardings. But on the positive side, he's had another hour. He's had an hour in a Premier League game, so his fitness levels, because when he came back the game before last, he looked like he was blind a little bit. Yeah. But he's had another hour of Premier League. So, again, that can only be a positive. But he's another one. Their training, I would imagine, will ease down. I know Emery likes it to be quite intense and press and press and press. But now you need to ease down for the next 10 days and then you start gradually building it up again, like towards the final. So they won't be flat out in their training now. It will be everybody having like massages and saunas and jacuzzis and doing light stuff. Exactly, yeah, not the high intensity pressing. Then that'll gradually build up as they get to the week before the final.
Yeah, I mean, you just answered my next question, because that's what I was going to ask. There's a bit of a break, isn't there, between obviously this game and the Europa League final. So a bit of a rest and then building it back up for that final.
Yeah, well, even I can only equate it to when we go back to 88-89. We had 10 days from the end of the season to when we played up at Anfield on 26. And our training was always intensive. And all of a sudden, George Graham just flipped it round. We were playing 5-a-sides, we were playing 8-a-sides. We wasn't doing the closing down, we wasn't doing the high-intensity keep ball. And we just thought, whoa, right, we couldn't believe it. We thought, oh, is the gaffer taking it easy? And he's like, no. We're all right, we're fit, we're fine. I don't have any injuries. You can't keep playing intense because you're going to get enough pressure on the 2 or 3 or 4 days before you're playing in that big game. So I want to completely ease it off now. So then we were playing 5. It was all jolly, like end of season stuff. Yeah. Then we played on the Friday, probably I think it was on the Tuesday and the Wednesday. Then it started building up, a couple of intense days, and then you ease off again for the game. So you can't keep mentally. You can't keep going in and going like
Burn
intense.
yourself
Exactly,
out.
yeah, you can't.
Yeah, it's interesting. I love it as well. You're like, we're playing 5-a-side, 8-a-side. Like, for you, you're like, yeah, there's nothing. For me and Johnny, we'd be like, 5-a-side.
Give us a break, Gaffer, please.
Not be funny. I was 24, 25. Do you know what I mean? Not now.
Right, someone who decided to go for a little bit of a wander during today's match was Bernd Leno. Quite a few of you had your say on this on social media. We can see a few tweets now. Leno with better defending than any of the current United players.
Nice.
Another one here, Leno challenging, he's in Emmanuel Neuer, obviously sweeper keeper there. Leno could be the centre-back we need. Because there was that moment, obviously, that everyone's alluding to there, where he kind of went on walkabout and he managed to win the ball, which was nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of Arsenal centre-halves who might want to take note as well.
No names mentioned.
I don't need to name the names.
You fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
Look at him, because it's the last game of the season, he's feeling a bit like loose at the hip.
Bit chipper.
Yeah.
And we know what I'm talking about anyway.
You know what
don't we?
happens there? That's what flip-flops do for you.
Yeah.
Like, it makes you free.
He's got his feet out. I wish you could see. Johnny's he's taking his shoes off and everything in
If
here.
it's sunny in Burnley, then I'm going to enjoy it down here, all right? Come on. No, look, as I say, I think Leno was great. Really, really a revelation this season and one of the serious advancements that we've made this season. And I think that his ability to come out of the box and his ability to receive the ball to feet is a real blessing to Arsenal and something that we can use to move forward with the way that we play. So, yeah, good vibes from Leno.
I think it's a sign of his growing confidence and his maturity. I love the fact in the first half where he bundled Ashley Barnes out of the way. Like, that's just a sign of him growing into his stature. So, get out of my way, and then there's a little bit of a kerfuffle. Yeah. He pulled off a brilliant save. I know Burnley ended up scoring in the end, but that was a hell of a save just before that, before Ashley Barnes scored. So I think he's improved immeasurably in the last 3 or 4 months of the season. The first, when he got in over Petr Cech, he looked a little bit as if the Premier League pace of it, I know he's in goal, and that sounds stupid, but the pace of it was very quick and the ball's coming into the box and he didn't have time to gather his thoughts. Now, he looks very composed. And the way that he plays, he's going to make a mistake. He's going to make a mistake because he has so many balls at the back, like obviously Edison and like Alisson, the two goalkeepers who just battled for the Golden Glove. What you do is if you make 1 a season or 2, then that's okay. Yeah. If you're making 4 or 5, then you need to have a look at yourself. So I think his confidence has grown, and I think it makes the centre halves have more confidence.
Yeah. Totally. We saw that with the Arsenal flat-back 4 and David Seaman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you know you've got someone behind you who you trust completely and in front of you if you're the goalkeeper, it makes a massive difference. Right, before we go, because we're almost out of time, guys, I wanted to get one word from you to take us into the final. So probably like one word about how you're feeling ahead of Baku.
Honestly, tense. And it's not just about Baku. I feel like we're favourites for Baku. So in terms of just that game, I'm going with confident. In terms of how I'm feeling in general,
you can't have more than
there's
one word.
There's the juxtaposition for you. That's what's going on in Arsenal fans' minds right now.
You're explaining what it is. It's the whole gamut of different emotions. If it was one game, it would be confidence. But the whole situation. We know what situation we're talking about. Yeah. Is nervous.
Right. I love it how both of you have just completely gone against the one-word ethos.
Nervous.
But, fine.
Screw your rules.
Listen, fellas, thank you very much. Perry Groves and to Johnny Cochran. I'm sure we'll have you on Arsenal Nation Live again next season. I already cannot wait for that. Something else I cannot wait for is obviously the Europa League final, which is when we will be back with you. Oh, it is all on it. I'm so excited. We'll see you then. Until then, come on, you Gooners.